Hello Year 2, how are you? And welcome to today's English lesson. Now today we are going to be looking at a brand new tense that we've never looked at before. And in the past we've looked at the present tense, we've looked at the past simple tense, and we've looked at the present progressive tense. Now today we are going to be looking at recognising and using the past progressive tense. Now if you know what the present progressive tense is, maybe you can guess what the past progressive tense is and how it's formed. Well, by the end of the lesson, you'll know the difference between the past simple tense and the past progressive. And you'll also know how to form the past progressive, the different parts of it, so that you can then write your very own sentences in the past progressive tense, which you can use in your letter when you write the letter from Florence Nightingale to her family back home. But before we look at the past progressive tense, I just want to do a retrieval activity to see how much you can remember about the past simple. So here are some verbs. We've got go, walk, see, carry, and know. And then we've got a time machine. Now we want to take these verbs back in time and change them into the past tense, okay? So could you pause the video now and have a go at changing these verbs into the past tense? Okay, Year 2, so let's go through them together. The first one is go. Today I go to school. Yesterday I went to school. So there you go. Can you see how the verb has changed completely? Well, that's because it is an irregular verb. It doesn't follow the regular pattern of adding the suffix ed. Okay, what about carry? Now, what do you notice about the end of this verb? Because this might affect how you change it in the past tense. Well, the verb ends in a Y, doesn't it? And remember, when a verb ends in a Y, we have to change it to an I when we change it to the past tense. So carry becomes carried. Can you see how I've changed the Y to an I before adding the suffix ed? Okay, what about walk? Today I walked to school. Yesterday I walked to school. So that's one of our regular verbs because we've just added the ed suffix, haven't we? Okay, what about know? Today I know what the weather's going to be like. Yesterday I knew what the weather was going to be like. So that's another of our irregular verbs because we haven't added the suffix ed. We've changed know to knew. We've changed the O to an E. Okay, and the last one, see. Today I see my friends. Yesterday I saw my friends. So again, an irregular verb because we haven't added the suffix ed. We've changed see to saw in the past tense. Fantastic. Well done if you got those right. Now, before we move on to the past progressive tense, I just want to recap how we form the past simple. Okay, so as I said, for regular verbs, we add the suffix ed. Now, if a verb ends in a single vowel sound and a consonant, like the word plan, we have to double the consonant before adding the ed. So I've doubled the N in plan. Today I plan my party. Yesterday I planned my party. Okay, then we have the verbs ending in Y like we did with carry. And this time we've got worry. So we have to change the Y to an I before adding the suffix ed. And then we have our verbs that end in an E. Now, if our verb ends in an E, remember, we have to take off the E before adding the suffix ed. And then we also have our irregular verbs. Now, these are just some of our irregular verbs. There are lots, but these are the ones that you'll probably use the most. So you've got did, got, was, ate, went, made, ran, wrote, and saw. Now, do you know what did is? What is the verb that has the past tense did? Yes, it's do, isn't it? And what's the verb that has the past tense wrote? Yes, it's right, isn't it? Well done. I know you know these are regular verbs very well from when we did our diary entries. Okay, so let's move on to the past progressive. So here we have a picture of a phone. Now, we have the sentence in the past simple and we have a sentence in the past progressive. So the past simple, the phone rang, and the past progressive, the phone was ringing. Now, what is the difference between these two sentences? Well, when we use the past simple tense, we are talking about an action that is completed, it's finished. So the phone rang, but now it's not ringing anymore. And then we have the past progressive, okay? The phone was ringing. Now that describes something that was going on for a long time. It was in progress for a long time, okay? So it's not just a completed action. It's something that goes on for a long time. So the phone was ringing for hours, you could say. The phone was ringing for days. The phone was ringing for ages. Okay, so that's when you use the past progressive. Now you can also use the past progressive with when, okay? Because you can say the phone was ringing when my dinner was ready. The phone was ringing when I answered it. The phone was ringing when my friend rang the doorbell. Okay, so it's a continued action. The phone was ringing, but then the when shows that it's interrupted by something else. So the phone was ringing when my friend rang the doorbell. So the friend ringing the doorbell interrupted the ringing phone. The phone was ringing when my dinner was ready. So the fact that dinner was ready and you're going to eat it has interrupted the phone. So you're not going to answer it. The phone was ringing when I entered the house. So the fact you're entering the house, probably going to stop the phone from ringing. So the past progressive tense describes something that it was in progress for a certain amount of time. So as I said, the phone was ringing for a long time. Now, have a look at these two pictures. We've got a man in the first one and then two girls with a book in their hand in the second one. And I would like you to think, you don't have to write this down, but just think, what past simple sentence could you write for this? And what past progressive sentence could you write for this? But remember, just say it out loud or think it in your head. You don't need to write it down at this point. Okay, year two, so let's go through them. Well, in the first picture, we can see that there's a man and he's moving rather quickly, isn't he, by the looks of it? So therefore, we can use the verb run. Now, what's run in the past tense? Yes, that's right. It's ran, isn't it? He ran down the road. Now, that is a completed action. He's run down the road, but now he's finished. What about the past progressive? Now, he was running. He was running. There we go. He was running down the road. Okay, so that was probably taking him a long time. And we could even say he was running down the road when he saw his friend. So there's the interruption. He was running down the road when he fell over. He was running down the road when the bus pulled up. Okay, so as I said, it can have an interruption, but the past progressive is something that's going on for a long time. It's something in progress, okay? Then the second picture, well, we've got two girls with books in their hand. So they are looking at their book, and we can use the verb read. Okay, now what's the verb read in the past tense? Yes, they read a book. Now, what about the past progressive? Now, we are thinking that these children are going to have been doing what they're doing for a long time. I can't give it away. They will have been doing what they're doing for a long time. So therefore, how would we put the verb read in the past progressive? Yes, fantastic. They were reading a book. Okay, again, you can show an interruption. They were reading a book when the doorbell went. They were reading a book when their mother called them for dinner. They were reading a book when their teacher entered the room. Okay, so they were reading a book for a long time. It was something that was in progress, continuous for a long amount of time. So well done if you were able to come up with some sentences in both the past simple and the past progressive for these pictures. So here we have got a paragraph, okay, and I'm going to look at the first part of the paragraph with you together, and then I'm going to leave you to have a look at the second part on your own. So we're going to try and spot any past progressive verbs. So let me read the first part to you. Yesterday it was raining and thundering all day. Anne was playing in the house, but she wanted to be outside. She was feeling tired of being trapped inside the house. Okay, so we are looking for past progressive verbs. Now remember, he was running, they were reading, the phone was ringing. Seems to be a pattern here, so let's see if we can find it in our little story. Yesterday it was raining and thundering all day. The phone was ringing. It was raining. There we go. There's our first one in the past progressive tense. Okay, yesterday it was raining and thundering, so it was thundering. That's also in the past progressive. Okay, Anne was playing inside the house. Anne was playing. Ah, there we go. There's another one. Anne was playing. She was playing for a long time because she was stuck in the house all day. Anne was playing inside the house, but she wanted to be outside. She was feeling tired of being trapped inside the house. It was raining. Anne was playing. She was feeling. There we go. We've got another past progressive verb there. She was feeling. Okay, so I found 3 with you. Now you have another paragraph. I would like to pause the video and see if you can find the other past progressive verbs. Remember, it was raining. Anne was playing. She was feeling. Okay, so pause the video now and see if you can find them for me.